region. So not only will we have warmer air, but also the moisture, and that will override the slightly cooler air that we have just to the north of this warm front. Already this morning we have some light rain near Alpena, Michigan, and Marquette, Michigan, and all of this will start to feed over perhaps across northern New England, well north of you, New York, well north of you, Boston, and well north of you, Philadelphia. It will be sunny but windy across most of the big cities in the Northeast. It'll be windy and sunny, too, around the St. Louis area, Little Rock, Arkansas, Dallas, Texas, as we find our next system over the southwest push out of California into Arizona. You can find as much as 3 inches, perhaps up to 4 and 5 inches of snow in some of the higher elevations of Arizona today. And then our next system comes into the Pacific Northwest, and freezing levels will start to lower over the Cascades as well. So most of the action out west as far as the wet weather goes, but it will be quite windy in the nation's midsection, and those southerly winds will build all the way to the New England coast of Chicago.
Just want to alert all Atlantans that I'll be putting shorts on for the first time this year, this afternoon, so beware.
Oh boy. Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll check on the traveling conditions nationwide. Checking out the airports now, no delays officially on arrival flights. All of the hubs are in good shape along the west coast, even where we have the active weather this morning, even rain in Seattle. We have rain in Vegas. We've had over half of an inch near the Strip already the last 24 hours, but officially no delays at the airport. Quite a bit of sunshine expected over the southeast and the mid-lower Mississippi River Valley today. A strong southerly wind flow will build, though, so a good tailwind as you pilots fly from the Dallas area to St. Louis and even up to Chicago. Pretty nice. Even if you're traveling by car, you'll have a good tailwind. You probably won't have to burn as much gasoline with the southerly winds coming in across this region. With the southerly winds, we also have moisture that has already started here across the upper peninsula of Michigan, the northern parts of the lower peninsula. It's a little damp here, and all of this moisture will eventually skirt across northern New England. It'll stay north of you, New York, Boston, Philly, we think today. But you can see on our national perspective, most of the action is out west. Now, we will watch this system in Southern California move into Arizona, eventually New Mexico, and then tomorrow perhaps creating stormy weather in the nation's midsection. But today we're just talking about windy conditions from Texas up to Nebraska and Kansas, as this is basically overnight tonight and tomorrow. Most of the action throughout the day today will be across the southwest with snow locally heavy in the mountains of Arizona, by the way, and another system coming into the Pacific Northwest. So let's check on the regions in the Northeast. Again, most of the moisture will be held across northern New England. It'll be windy, Boston with 52 degrees. So you see it's that friendly wind, as we'll have the southerly wind flow coming in from the tropics. When you have a southerly component to the wind, you know that's a warm wind. 71 in D.C., a little windy around our nation's capital. A beautiful day expected over the southeast. You're pretty much closer to the center of our high pressure, so it won't be as windy today. Atlanta, just plain old sunshine with 78 degrees, 78 in Nashville. But here is the backside of that high, and that's when the winds will start to pick up from Houston to Dallas and Oklahoma City. And again, some of this moisture will start to break out later today and overnight tonight. Minneapolis, the threat of rainy conditions come tomorrow, but most of the day today it should be just windy with an afternoon high of 67 in Minneapolis. Out west, there you have it, unsettled the Pacific Northwest and the Southwest today. Slight improvement, though, for you, San Diego, as the bulk of the energy will move into Arizona. Now, there's a chance for thunderstorms, southern Arizona, later tonight and tomorrow. This will start to break out across the nation's midsection. Very, very windy across the country. Winds generally out of the south now, as we have that clockwise flow around the periphery of our high pressure that will pretty much center itself right off the southeast coast. So that broad clockwise flow with it. Windy today from Boston to Chicago to St. Louis and all the way to the Big D, Dallas, Texas. That's a quick look at the traveling conditions for this Thursday. Stay with us. Coming up in a moment, we have a look at the forecast for the weekend. Don't go away.
Top of the morning, everyone.
Very happy you could join us here on this Thursday morning, the 26th. I'm Bruce Edwards. This is Vivian Brown.
Good morning.
Vivian got my gray memo today, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought I was looking into a mirror there. But it's Thursday the 26th. I always like to, bad weather keeps us in business, so to speak, because, everybody's curious about the bad weather and whether it's coming their way and stuff. And, of course, we spend a lot of time on that. But I like to talk about the nice weather, too. And you get real excited when you can talk about some warm temperatures, finally. A real good shot of warm air coming to places that have been a little chilly, and that includes much of the east. And for the next several days, you're going to like it.
Oh, yeah. Spring is here, and Mother Nature is really sharing her warmth across the country.
Funny thing is, I like to see tomorrow attendance figures for businesses up and down the eastern seaboard. Being that it's Friday, it's going to be awfully nice. There's going to be a lot of hooky being played tomorrow at businesses all up and down the eastern seaboard.
Okay, we'll have a complete look at that forecast for you coming up in just a moment. Right now you have it right smack in the nation's midsection, a huge ridge of high pressure responsible for the sinking air. And when that air sinks, it compresses and it really warms up. So it was nice yesterday across most areas here. There you see Denver with readings running about 25 to 30 degrees above the norm. So you ask, what about other areas that didn't have record highs? How warm was it in St. Louis? 73 degrees, 78 in Kansas City, 80 yesterday in Oklahoma City. There you see Dallas, it was nice, 79. Even Rapid City, South Dakota, 75. There's your record high in Denver of 75. So right here, it was quite mild indeed. And even this morning we have our warmest air here across the nation's midsection as we wake up to middle 60s in Dallas, Oklahoma City 61, 64 in Little Rock, 53 right now Atlanta. Beautiful day shaping up for you if you're in Atlanta. Cooler air in the Pacific Northwest from Seattle to Portland. We do have some wet weather here, and another system creating wet conditions in Southern California, including Southern Nevada, Vegas. We have rain this morning, and we've had over half of an inch the last 24 hours. Another concern, the warm air here is pushing up over the slightly cooler air over the northern Great Lakes this morning. And as this warm air overrides that cooler air, cold air can't hold moisture as readily as warm air. So we have rain showers developing, even some embedded heavier rain here. Just north, the lower peninsula of Michigan, near Pellston, Marquette reporting some lighter rains, and this is all moving east. And as it does so, it will eventually skirt across northern New England. I think we'll keep most of the moisture today north of the big cities in the northeast. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But again, the southerly wind flow here, those broad southerly winds bringing in warmer air and moisture, and as that warm air overrides the cooler air, there you have your showers. All of this will eventually move across northern New England. But our ridge of high pressure, not only at the surface but in the upper levels of the atmosphere, responsible for a dry day today, mostly sunny, many areas including Dallas, Oklahoma City, St. Louis. Our satellite picture will clearly show the clear skies that we wake up to this morning, if I can get the satellite picture. But quite a sunny day expected with all the clear skies. We have reports of clear skies this morning from Little Rock to Nashville and even around New Orleans. I think my computer is locked up here. But you get the general idea with the wet conditions just north of this warm front and over the southwest with our system as it comes in across Southern California into Arizona. Now around Kingman, Arizona, we have reports of rain this morning. And freezing levels are still pretty high in the mountains of Arizona, up to about 7,000 feet. But later today, some of that colder air will move in, and that's going to allow the freezing levels to lower. And we can find anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow in the mountains of Arizona. And then another system comes into the Pacific Northwest. As a matter of fact, we'll check out the forecast for later today so that you can see the progression. Good morning. It is now 10 minutes before 6 o'clock Eastern Time. 80s, St. Louis, 73 degrees yesterday. Little Rock, Arkansas, you got up to 78. And the southerly winds just kept it quite mild across this region. And that's where it's the warmest this morning. We still have that broad southerly wind flow from Dallas to St. Louis. With readings in the 60s already this morning. Even Chicago We're at 61 degrees. Now, with this southerly wind flow, we also have moisture in the low levels of the atmosphere, but as that warmer, moist air overrides the cooler air, that's when rain begins to develop, because cold air just cannot hold that moisture as readily as warm air. So we do have the showers developing across the northern parts of Michigan here. It's kind of an overrunning moisture pattern, what we call here, near Pellston, along Interstate 75 as you head northward, and even near Marquette we have some light rain, and all of this is moving off toward the east. But keep in mind, just a broad southerly wind flow here, and that's why we have this warm front, kind of indicating that warmer feel to the air, opposed to the slightly cooler air just north of it. The big picture shows high pressure off the east coast here, and it's the broad clockwise flow around this high pressure that is bringing us the strong southerly winds on the backside of it. It's going to be windy today from Oklahoma City and Dallas up to St. Louis. Windy again, the windy city of Chicago, and even near Detroit, perhaps a little breezy today with those southerly winds. It'll be windy as well. New York, Boston, Philadelphia, winds generally out of the southwest. Atlanta, you'll want to be as windy. Also Charlotte, North Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. You're a little closer to the center of our high pressure, opposed to on the backside where you have the winds coming in from the south. Now, right beneath that ridge, it is quite mild this morning, and we have clearing skies from Nashville over toward Macon, Georgia, Birmingham, Montgomery, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi, Little Rock. A little closer inspection shows the clear skies across most of the southeast. Some higher moisture building over the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, but with all these clear skies this morning, it is quite warm with the southerly winds. Jackson, Mississippi, 63. Again, all of this, of course, originating in the tropics. So when you have a southerly wind flow, the component of the wind originating in the warmer territories of the world. So as the southerly winds bring that warm air all the way to the northeast, as we wake up to 45 degrees already this morning in our nation's capital. Look at Pittsburgh, 51, 56 around Erie, Pennsylvania. Slightly cooler across northern New England, Burlington, Vermont, 38, Bangor, 36. Even Boston, you're checking in with 36. So as this warmer air overrides the cooler air, even here we'll find some rain showers across much of northern New England today. It'll just be windy and sunny for places like Boston, New York, Philadelphia. Plano sunshine, Atlanta 78 degrees. You know, it doesn't get much better than this, so hope you have time to get out and enjoy. Tampa 83 degrees, 80 in Miami, the afternoon high, and the Big Easy, sunny conditions, 82 degrees. You know that's nice. The southerly winds will keep it quite breezy all the way to the windy city of Chicago, but again, it's a south wind, so temperatures will be fairly mild, 72 degrees. Weather Center is next.